This is Lindsay here, and we are recording an episode of the Freedom Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm so excited to have you guys with me on this beautiful Thursday. Joining me is this amazing woman, Reina Harris, who is the founder of Parak Consulting. Reina consults and coaches servers to be leaders in their industry. But today she is sharing her insights, her wisdom, her God-led passion for how we can embrace a servant's heart in business to not only level up our business, but to level up our own personal lives. So Reina, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Lynn.
My pleasure, as always. This is going to be so good. I mean, one of the best things about you is you literally live what you preach. And that is why I invited you on the podcast, because you are just a shining ray of light. And I know you're going to bring joy to everybody.
So I was just so appreciative to have this opportunity with you.
Yes, it's fun. Let's have a good time. I mean, why not? If it's not fun, why do it, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
So, tell us a little bit about your journey and in life. Like, what led you to this point where you became on this mission, as you say, like this God-led purpose,
right,
to empower people to, explore leadership from a servant's heart? How did you even get to that awareness?
So I would say it was a year ago. I have been in the restaurant industry for about 6 years now. And I have just been so blessed by the relationships that I've been able to create, by the experience I've been able to experience. And so in doing that, it was in being vulnerable, in knowing my true worth. And last year, I really took a turn in who am I without all of the earthly things? Who am I without the gym? Who am I without friendships? Who am I without all of these things? What we feel brings us together as a human being. And so it gave me time to know myself. It gave me time to know my purpose. And it gave me time to really feel in my heart where God wanted me and what he wanted me to speak, and to not be afraid of being that true self. And so in doing that, I want to give that to others. I want to give that freedom of loving yourself, of loving others, of being wise in your decisions, and feeling confident and not second guessing anything.
Oh man. Yes, absolutely. I love how it took letting go of so many things, physical, earthly things, as you said.
Yes.
To find that. What was that like for you? I mean, was it scary? Did you feel trepidation about letting things go, or did it just feel like the right thing to do?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. At first, it was one of those things that I was just letting go for me. And then there was hesitation in the midst, because we live in a small community. So when people are used to certain mannerisms and ways that you are, they become unfamiliar with, what is this change? Who are you? And why are you doing this? And it didn't make sense to a lot of people. And so that part in itself was a little it made me nervous, because I do like presenting myself well, and I do like presenting a kindness in a certain way. But, one of the things that I let go of was trying to appease others, whether it made sense to anybody or not. I had to do what I knew was true in my heart, because now I am a better person. It's a year later, and now I am able to see full vision and give that full aspect of, this is my purpose. This is what it's supposed to be. So at first it was scary, but I look back now and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And I love what you said about, it just gave me chills, just what you said about leaning into, who you are, and knowing that that's where you're headed and the clarity you have in life. So at what point though did it transition for you where you're like, okay, this is what's made sense for me, and I have the vision, like you said, I have the vision.
Yes.
When did you decide that it was your place, your next step to start sharing that with others?
I had our friend Julie that took the time to talk to me, and she got to know my background. And she said, just tell me about your heart, tell me about you. And I told her, if I could have a lifestyle of just loving others, I said, that would be amazing. And, in trying to recreate something. And she really helped me put the pieces together into not just being a servant to others, but also helping others to get to that stage in life where you are just feeling full round. And so that's what helped.
That is so fantastic. And
Yeah.
isn't that true? It's like that song, that country song. It's reminding me, if I can make a living out of loving you.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, it's definitely like, we all want to be able to make a living out of what we love. And here
Yes.
we embraced it.
Yeah. Yes. And,
Go ahead.
oh, no, that's okay.
I was just going to say, like, how did you decide to turn that into coaching servers? I mean, that's such a unique, because really, honestly, hearing what you're saying,
Yes.
could have gone in so many directions. I mean, you could have just done simple life coaching. You could have done, just female-led coaching, just how to, you could have gone in 1,000 directions. Single moms, like, I know that's a thing for you too, that's really been a pillar in your life. So many different aspects that you could have gone down.
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to bless the servers?
It was just my experience in the restaurant industry. You hear customers say, oh my goodness, the customer service is great, or I have had experiences where it was not. And you see others not as happy. And I struggled with confidence when I first started. I struggled with being vulnerable. I struggled with just allowing myself to be the true me. And so I look around and I see some people that aren't as happy in their environment. I see the ways that some people are with the guests. And so it's for myself, it's every single person. I want to create a relationship. I want to create an experience. I want to create more than just a sit down, let me have my food, let's go home. I want to make it memorable. And so in that, I wanted to give other servers the opportunity to know when you're walking into that building, when you're walking into that bar and getting ready to bartend, it's not just clocking in. It's more, it's a lifestyle. It is something that you can create. And I don't think as many people recognize what can happen when you allow yourself to tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. And there's something else, and I want to get into that, but I know there's something else that you've said is, for them to recognize that they have a way to give back to people. And
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where I want to go with this conversation a little bit, is like, how has that blessed you? I mean, how has that made your life fuller? That awareness, even before you took it into the coaching space, you were developing that for yourself and for yourself as a server and a bartender.
Absolutely.
How did that work? Like, what inspired you to do that? And then what was the result?
So I'm going to be completely honest. My first real genuine, actual, like looking back at the picture of what can happen. So I call them the McReynolds, and they're very dear family friends. And so it started out as the husband was coming here for work, and I would get to serve him and his friend. And we had a conversation about the community, about family, and we just started seeing each other. And so then he ended up taking a position here in town. And so I would see him here and there. And then I became so close with his wife. His wife is my best friend. Like, she is there through and through. She is strong. She is fierce. She is fun. And it started because I opened up. It started because my grandpa was having a birthday party, and I brought him over a piece of cake when he was like sitting over there. So it's, when I look back, We spend holidays together. I just spent Mother's Day with her, and it started out as a guest. It started out as being a servant to someone. And now we are family. Now they are just people that I have been so blessed to know and to really appreciate every single moment that I have with them. So
that is amazing. That's a story I never heard before. I didn't.
Right?
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, it just goes to show that, when you enrich somebody else's life, it can come back to you tenfold. I mean, just like, it's said. The other thing too, I noticed is and I'd like you to kind of elaborate on this, is how did it bless your business? Like, how did you, well, first of all, let's talk about the mindset for your business, right?
Right.
When I say that, what people watching this may not realize is, I mean, her business as a server. And this is kind of the thing where I think a lot of times employees get stuck in this mindset. And this applies to everybody. Where they're just an employee. It's not their business. It's somebody else's business. It's just a job. You didn't think of it that way, did you?
No.
What was your mindset like?
So my mindset was, it's kind of like a area, your domain, if you will. It's like you have your section. So typically in the restaurant industry, you have your 4 tables, your 6 tables. I look at my tables as my community. I look at my bar as my community. I look at that as my tribe. What am I able to create in this perimeter for the evening? What am I able to experience in this perimeter for the week? And every single day, and God has just really placed it on my heart, is going into work and saying, no matter what the parking lot looks like, because if you've ever worked in a casino, a restaurant, and you're looking at the cars are like, it's kind of like, oh no, I hope it's going to be busy. But it's in having that mindset, no matter the amount of people, if you just get that one, if you just get that 2 tables to that point where you are able to create something so much more than just bringing a plate. You are bringing life. You are bringing encouragement. You are bringing wisdom. You are bringing experiences. And I think what people don't realize is how valuable our words, our actions, our mentalities are. And, we get busy and sometimes we miss it. But God is so good that He gives us another go around. So I look at it as my community.
Yes. Okay. So the next question then leads me into, how did that mindset benefit your bank account? I mean, what did that do? When I say, what did that do for your business, right? We're talking about the server, your tables. How has it changed the experience for you?
So I say this in a very humble and grateful way. I have a family, it's a couple, and they're older, and I've known them since the time that I started for about 6 years now. And so once again, I was vulnerable and I let them know about my son and our lifestyle. And so we started developing a relationship. Now, when they come in, they want to sit with me. We want to talk about what's going on. We want to talk about life. So I allowed myself to open up to people. Now they want to sit down with me. Now I am so humble and grateful that people are requesting for my section, because now we're able to create something. Now we're able to get to another level. And while it is a lifestyle, because when you are a server, you are relying on those tips. So it's more than that, though. You are having relationships, you're having your finances, you are having a whole different lifestyle you didn't even know was possible.
Yes. And so I just want to elaborate on this. So for those of you listening, here's something. So Reina and I live in the same small town. And I mean, life is a little bit different in a small town, but I don't see any reason why this could apply, because I've seen it happen in larger cities as well. A server's just really amazing. And so, people were creatures of habit, right? We end up going and kind of frequenting the same place because we love the food, because we love the atmosphere, whatever. It's close to home. It's on our way. Whatever we do, we have our little reasons. But imagine if you had a restaurant with an amazing server and you were willing to literally wait until a table came available in her section or his section. That's what life is like in Reina's world. We'll wait for her tables to come available because they want that. They are so, in fact, they text her, are you working on this night? Are you working on this? Because now she's made these relationships. And so, I mean, she has now set herself up, and I'm speaking for you because I understand, like, sometimes it's hard to shine a light on ourselves. I get it. But she has set herself up now so that people want to come wherever she's at. If you were to move restaurants, they would go where Reina is at. She has literally created her own business within a business now. She is the brand, right? And between you, me, and the all of us listening,
right,
the public, the world,
hello,
I would put money on this. And I've never talked to your boss, but I bet he understands the value of you being there beyond, everything. Obviously, your bright shininess and the fact that you're probably one of his favorite people, like, most people think, but the value to his business and to his restaurant. And he probably recognizes that if you were to leave, what that could cost him.
Yeah.
And guys listening to this, ladies and gentlemen, this can apply to any business. It doesn't matter what we're in. And this is why I'm saying this is like a lost art. And Reina, you maybe know this because I know you're still building your online business, but something I can see, and this is why I'm bringing you on here, because in the online space, we've become so detached. It's like, let me just run these ads, run people through my funnel, get them to convert. The relationship there.
Yes.
Where's the heart? Where's the soul? Where's the getting into people's space and like getting to know them beyond, buy my product.
Right.
My course. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me ask you this now that you're the expert on building community. What are some things that people could do to build those community, those relationships that, that giving to spread that joy and to build deeper, more meaningful relationships in the world?
So something that I know God has blessed me with is discernment. You're going to have your tables and you're going to have people where you can kind of read if they want more conversation, if they want to get involved with more than just having the meal. I've had my tables where, I was very appreciative to serve them that day, but we didn't get into a whole lot of detail. We didn't get into a whole lot of conversation. And it wasn't because it was lacked. It's just because sometimes people do have a certain mindset of why they are in the restaurant, which is okay. But it's when you open yourself up, like I was saying, if you have something that you can relate to as small as a dessert, as small as what you like to do, activities, it's the weather, it's all of those small things we don't even think matter, to the point where it's like, no, this could be like way off the scale and we can introduce this. So it's just really in being in tune with talking about anything and everything.
Okay. I want to pause you for a second because I want to get deeper on this.
Yeah.
As it relates to online business, because you just sparked an idea of something that happened to me yesterday that I think exemplifies what you're saying, but also to those of us in the online space. And that is this: when we get on our consult calls, right? And so in the online space, we drive the traffic, we get the booking. I have been on a lot of consult calls, and you know what a lot of them is? It's like, tell me about your business. What are the problems I can solve? Here's what I do. This is my system. This is how much it costs. Do you want to buy? Okay. I rarely have people ask me questions like, tell me about your family. What are your hobbies and interests? What do you do outside of work? Like, besides the three main problems I can solve for you, what is your life like? And it actually reminds me of my car business days. One of the things that we used to do as a service advisor was deliberately look for something that we could relate to. I mean, if a customer came in with a horseshoe on their car, like a sticker, I would
Right.
ask them, are you a horse person? Because of course I am, right? We want to.
Right.
And just yesterday, I was doing a consult call, right, for my business.
Right.
Found out that she is a farrier. Do you know what a farrier is?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes.
And I apprenticed as a farrier when I was 15. And of course, I love horses. And
Right.
we were just over the moon about the irony of two women who have experience as a farrier. And so there's a way to relate, I've known her for quite a while and we just discovered this about each other. So it's really cool how those things can tie together. So I think what you're saying is to pause and slow down and find something that you can relate to or with somebody.
Yes.
So that's step one. What would be step two?
Step two would be not just letting it end at what kind of things are you interested in, but more so ask them their interest in what is going on in their heart. Ask them how emotions are. And because it's more so, yes, it's interesting to know the hobbies and all of that stuff, but truly, genuinely, I had this couple and they had shared with me something deep that they were going through. And I was vulnerable and I allowed them to know the times of difficulty when I was going through something similar. And I think when people, when people are allowed to talk about things, even though it may be hard, you know what? Sometimes this is why God has us on our paths, so that we can instruct and that so we can love, so that we can give that strength because we were there.
Yeah.
And so it's in not looking past the experiences, but to build each other up in that moment, to give each other courage, to give each other understanding of maybe this doesn't make sense, and to really take hold of, you're given an opportunity. This is an opportunity. It's not just pass by conversation. It's allow yourself to be that strong person for others.
I'm over here taking notes because again, I want to tie it all together. And your wisdom is so profound. I just don't even think you always realize how deep you're going. And I just love it. Yeah. So the second thing I think I hear you saying is that vulnerability, but being real and connecting through the heart.
Yes.
Especially in business, we tend to keep things very professional, right?
Oh, yes.
And it's uncharacteristic, I think, to let ourselves dive deep into that emotion. And I mean, obviously for people who are life coaches and whatnot, that could be different. Obviously, you're having different kinds of conversations, but I'm thinking more in that just professional B2B type relationship. It can just be so politically correct. So why not let it go deeper, beyond the scope of business? Because that's where relationships are made. I mean, it's also what makes people memorable and makes you memorable. I'm thinking of sometimes like people I've networked with over just the last few years I've been in business. I've met some of the most amazing people that I've never met in person because we just been networking and we got to know each other. And now we're besties and I've never met them.
Right.
But you build those relationships and now okay, that's the person I'm going to refer people to for this. This is who I would call if I needed that. And why not be able to do that with your customers as well? That's great insight.
Yes.
And then the last thing you said, which you kind of just went into, which is awesome, is that gratitude and encouragement and building the other people up. And you know what, Reina, I see you do this all the time. Heck, girl, you even do it to me. I mean, there's times where we just see each other. I'm like, Reina, it's like everybody's just happy to see you because you're an encourager. You make people feel better. You leave them feeling better than you found them. And oh man, what a gift, what a blessing. It's truly been a gift to get to know you, honestly.
Thank you, Lindsay.
On earth. The world's a better place with you here. Okay, so I mean, this has been great. And I really hope that people listening to this are able to recognize and connect. And I would invite you, as if you're listening to this episode or you're watching on Facebook, I would invite you to sit down with yourself and just, recap this conversation and ask yourself, how can I apply this to my business? How
Mhm.
can I set up systems that would force me almost to dive deeper into these conversations? One of the examples I've seen, it was actually Julie. She did this in her business as an apartment syndicator. And for those of you listening, she's been on the show a couple times. Amazing woman, so smart.
Mhm.
But in her business, relationships is the key. And we're talking about investment capital. I mean, big professional, right? Like, why would we go deeper in a situation like that? And yet she goes out of her way to have personal phone calls and
Yeah.
reach out to people that she's never done business with. And she set it up in her drip system to schedule a task to call people. That
Yes.
is an example of how we could be a leader in our industry. We could
Mhm.
take it beyond just the funnel and start, blessing others and reaching out and seeing how that serves us. My gosh, what a conversation this has been. I'm so grateful. Oh, before we wrap it up, tell people what you've got going on and where they can and hear your podcast.
Okay. So, what I have going on is my restaurant serving consulting. So, I love trying to uplift people and I love giving the certain resources into gyms, into beauty, into all the things that make us feel good, into becoming better, not just for ourselves, but for others. Because when we are good to ourselves, then we are able to be 100. And that is something my dad has always taught me. So I have that. And then also my podcast is What It Means to Be a Servant on Apple, Spotify, and I'm also on YouTube. So if anyone would like to subscribe or, I would be more than appreciative of being able to just give any information if requested.
Yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
listen, Reina and I are going to record another episode that goes more into her business journey and what it's been like. And she is in a place where so many of you listening to this episode could be, where you have a gift, you have a shining ray of light, and you have something you're going to share with the world. And you're
Mhm.
just taking flight. I encourage you to check out her podcast, give her a subscribe, and support
Yeah.
her in her journey so that her message can be shared and even you reach more people. So be sure to check the show notes or look her up. What it means to be a servant, excuse me. What it means to be a servant on Apple or anywhere you listen to podcasts. So thank you again for being here today, Reina. It's been a true
Oh, thank you for having me, Lindsay.